The following program has been rated GE by the Kenya Film Classification Board. It is therefore suitable for general family viewing.
Hello viewer, how are you today? I'm welcoming you to our today's episode on Chungu cha Jamii, and today is a special day. Today is Valentine's Day. So I'm celebrating you. I hope you're celebrating me there. So today we are talking on habits that build a strong marriage. And before we dive into that, I want to ask you, do you know the origin of Valentine? Now, Valentine originates from the ancient Rome. Now, there was this Saint Valentine. He was a person who used to help people to get married, couples to come together and get married, also help them through their issues, and also at some point, because such a person was normally hated by the community, at some point he was even thrown in jail, and he was this person who had a very big heart. He loved people. Even in his jail time, he was able to help the jailer's daughter who was blind, and he could write lovely cards to the girl, and this girl could be read to, these notes continuously by other people. So his love could be, it was so big. But on the 14th of February, he was executed, he was killed. And that's why we continually celebrate Valentine. It is from Saint Valentine. So today now you know where Valentine is coming from. Now as we go forward, I'm celebrating you. Celebrate the person that you love. Love is all about, loving everyone else that is around you, not just your partner, but even your children, your colleagues. Go out and give yourself. Go out and give love. So today we are talking on these, habits of building a strong marriage, and I'm welcoming you to join in the conversation on our SMS line 21144 and on our social media handles at GBS TV Africa. I'm your host, Kate Waliaro. I'm with a very special couple today, now that it's Valentine. I'm with a couple that is brilliant. They are very passionate about marriage. And we have them so that they can guide us, they can tell us how they've done it for themselves, and also help us to do it also for ourselves. You're most welcome.
Thank you.
Kindly introduce yourself to the viewer. Tell them what you do, and who you are, because today it's special. It's a special day. So welcome.
Asante. My name is Mary Gaki, or Mary Njero. And today I came with Njero himself, Anthony, my husband, for 12 years. And we are excited to be here doing a morning Chungu cha Jamii program on Valentine's Day. I mean, it's awesome.
Sure.
And happy Valentine's.
Happy Valentine's to you.
Out there. Yeah, celebrate love. Yes.
All right. My name is Anthony Njero. First of all, happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you.
That's a surprise. So happy Valentine's to everybody else. I am a mediator. This is my wonderful wife, Mary Gaki. Together we do marriage. We do marriage. Yeah.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
And you're a wonderful couple.
Thank you.
How nice to be surprised like this. So, tell us about how did you start? In fact, how did you meet?
The background. Wow. I think, where do we start? Do we start the background or? Well, we met in church first and foremost.
Wow.
That's where we met. But our story goes a bit further back. Before we met 12 years ago, that is in 2009. Before that, I was already, I had a background, a history of myself. And I came from another dysfunctional family. So there's a background there that is already going on. So by the time I was meeting her, I was not interested in marriage at all. I was already out of marriage.
So God surprised you.
So her now, she came from a background.
A background where, marriage was modeled very well. I mean, family, we were all about family. And like him, like he's saying, he came from a background where marriage was not really working and stuff like that. For me, it was different. Marriage was working and working well.
So you even looked forward to it?
I looked forward to getting married.
And I didn't look forward to that.
He didn't look. He didn't look forward to getting married. But of course, heartbreaks, you know, for a young girl, you have your heartbreaks and everything. So by the time we both were meeting, we were not, like, it was already at the back of our minds. We are not in this thing to joke or to at it trying out or
More or
stuff
less,
like
yes.
that. We were serious. Like, if we are dating or we are courting, we are seriously going to get married. Like, we are not here to play games.
Yeah.
So on the very first day, he called me and asked me out for coffee. On the very first day, he told me, I'm marrying you. Like, I'm not starting this for any jokes. So I knew, like, if I'm entering this relationship, it is to marriage. You know, nowadays you start a kaurafiki, friendship, friend zone, then you unfriend the zone, then you go to boyfriend, girlfriend, then now you engage, and then you do now fiancé. No, as from day one.
You knew what you
And I
were
think
in.
that's how we used to do it our time.
Yeah,
Like, if you ask someone out, you're asking them out because you want to marry them. You're not going to try out at a boyfriend, girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think with life, where you go through ups and downs, until now life makes you ready.
Yes.
So
life,
at some point you're like, this is what I want. I don't want a boyfriend, I want a husband.
Yeah, and you can't
Because
waste time at that point.
I just come from about another 8-year relationship. 8-year relationship. And it had come to a complete end.
And mine was 5.
Yes. So between the two of us, we already have had 13 years of
wasted.
heartbreak.
So did you even do courtship?
Yes, we did, actually.
1 year and a half.
Yes, from
You guys are patient.
Yeah, but that 1 year and a half, we were just planning the wedding
Yes.
and the parental visit.
Yes.
So it's not like we said, let's Joanna. No, from the day he knew he's marrying me, I think the following day or a day after that, he went to see the pastor. And the pastor gave us time, told us, take your time, get to know each other. Like, as we were on the roll, like, from
Are
day
you
one.
people? Wow, that's nice.
That's our style, and we encourage. We are not saying that those who are taking time to know one another 2 or 3 years, that they are entirely bad. We're just saying that this is where we came from. There is a background to why we did this. We were not. We were already coming from a place where it's either we make it or we make it. That's basically it. So somebody else might come thinking, no, let's take a bit of time, know one another, and so forth. Marriage styles are different, but the principles are the same. Yeah.
Now you got into this, you got into marriage right after that. And she's from a different background that she had embraced. And you here, you are shaky.
Yes, then you crash.
How
You get married
how
and
did
crash.
this work?
No, on top of that, you add on top of that, I'm coming from a family where marriage does not seem to work. And unfortunately, in such a marriage, children become some of the worst victims.
Sure.
And as you grow up, you have a low idea, a low value of marriage.
Sure.
And then on top of that, now add personality. Now.
It has even been altered somewhere along that.
So her personality is outgoing and so forth and strong. Mine is a bit more reserved. Okay. So now again, on top of that background, then you come to personality conflict now. Then you have to start managing again.
Now to start now building something as a unit.
Yes.
Yet you are different personalities from different backgrounds. How do you marry? Did you manage to marry all that?
We still are trying. We still are. But one thing that is very clear is you can tell she's actually like the face of our marriage, my wife. She's more outgoing. Yeah, she's more outgoing. In front of people, she's very outgoing.
Yeah.
In fact, the other day we were discussing, and I was we were just discussing some of our challenges. I was saying, it is easy for you to walk into a situation and just make friends. For me, I think it's going to take a bit of time. I'm going to take time. I'm not interested or something. For flimsy reasons, is because of my background again, where I came from. But she will automatically, within that day, she can come out with a friend, and she will make a friend. So she becomes like the face of marriage. So for me now, I'm trying very hard to see how does this work? So I'm just getting out of that cocoon and that shell and say, you know what, I've got to open up myself to know more people. You know, to be ready to mingle with people, to know people and things like that. You know, so she's infecting me with her personality. Now the other part about her personality, it can be too much on the other side.
Yes.
That's the other thing.
Yeah, that's the thing about, you know, people like, because I'm a choleric. and a bit of sanguine. So I can, sometimes you want to go all the way, like you have an idea and you just want to run with it. But now he brings the balance. It's like, oh wait, slow down, you know, and that's the advantage of, you know, personalities should not mess you up. They complement one another.
Sure.
So once we got married and we realized, well, of course there were moments of crashing, and the crashing was to help us now have a blend. You know, you blend and have some landing place.
Sure.
But the thing that was very clear, and I thank my husband for this, the fact that he did not deny where his background, and I also accepted where I come from. So we both are in agreement that you're like this and me, I'm like this. We are in that one, we don't argue about. So we just try to work around it. The problem sometimes when people get married and their personalities or backgrounds crash and they're not able to start off in marriage very well, is because huyu hataki kwao kuguzwe, hutaki hizo vitu ziguzwe. No, I'm not like that. You're even in denial. Accept that, you know what, I'm dealing with a heartbreak, and probably that heartbreak hurt me so bad that even when I'm in marriage, sometimes I still feel it. You know, accept there's that issue, so that when you're dealing with one another, you give each other grace and space for growth, because that's what has happened with us.
One thing I do understand very clearly when you worked together like this is that the other day I wrote an article. You remember the article I wrote about life interests? In other words, in my mind, I have looked at my wife. She's my life interest. What are my life interests in her? She's not just a person to come and wash clothes and so forth. So what benefits do I get from her? If I lose her, what benefits do I lose? So I have defined my interests, and they are resident in my wife. It is not that she serves me food or makes a home or something like that. It is her. If she left, all that goes along.
I'm the package.
Yes, she's the package. You get, yeah? That whole package is resident in her. So I don't have the luxury of surgically removing some things. I have to accept that package and work with it. Okay? So I define my life interest in her. And they can be as simple as, I was saying, they can be simple as, naoshewa nguo, my clothes are clean and so forth, my shoes are clean and so forth. As simple as that. They can be as complex as that she's a wonderful money manager. As complex as that, they can be as complex as what I was saying, her personality. She goes out there and represents the marriage. You get, they can be as complex as that, as simple as possible. So what do I stand to lose when I joke around with her or I leave her? Same thing. She defines her interests in me. You know, so there are so many weaknesses in me and in her, but at the end of it all, we have to try to find a balance.
Yeah.
I'm loving the people that you have grown into from.
Yeah, of course, we were not like that on the first year of our marriage.
You really was tough.
Yeah.
I just love the way you have understood each other. You know who you are, each and every one of you, and you're, working, with all that, moving forward with it, understanding each and every, strength and weakness. I think most marriages are lacking that.
Yeah, and like that's what I was saying. If don't be in denial. Just agree that this is how I am and this is where I'm coming from. Because you're not, nobody is an angel. We all have a background we all came from. And once you accept that and lay it on the table, don't hide anything. Don't try to pretend that you had this perfect life before you came into my life.
And you said something about you could have been in a relationship previously that hurt you so bad that even, someone akiwa in a current marriage, inamsumbua.
Yes, very true. Because you remember the heart is still there. The action. Say like if you are heartbroken, that action is still there. You cannot erase that. It happened. You may have forgiven, but it happened. So you get into marriage, then you start seeing your husband behaving in some manner.
Patterns
That may refer to what had happened previously. So you get a tendency to want to refer to that. And these wounds, they keep, if a wound is chokozwad again, it's very easy for it to come out again. And that's why you hear a woman saying, all men are the same. Why are they the same? Yet you chose this one to marry, to marry you. So sometimes those heartaches still drag through even in marriage. But if your partner understands that you had this boyfriend who wasted your time, too bad, but me, I'm serious.
So you people talked about those previous baggages that you had.
I think on our second or third date,
Yes.
like we laid everything on the table.
It was more or less like like I'm giving you an option, just you can go now.
It's
go.
like you're telling them, this is a break all, this is a do or die. I'm telling you what I am. By the time we move further along in this relationship, you've decided whether you want to stay or not. Ukae ukinijua, even ndivyo ninakuanga. Yes, but it takes a lot of maturity.
Sure, because a lot of marriages are lacking that.
And even relationships, like people are still in courtship, but they are still not true to themselves.
Because people want to show a perfect being. But in reality, ikitu imebeba trauma.
Yes.
You have to remember also that even with all that trauma, the principles of marriage remain the same. They do not change to accommodate your trauma.
Sure.
You get? So even if you went through all that trauma, the same principles of marriage, communication, being selfless, loving one another, and so forth, they still remain the same. You still have to work with them.
Now, I've listened to your, you are an epitome of knowledge.
By the grace of God, oh my God, it was never like this.
Yeah. And I'm happy to listen to your story. It's very, anyhow, I wish we could go for a break so that you can, take a breather. And then when you come back, we are going to talk on the habits.
All right.
That build a strong marriage. Yours is clearly a strong marriage. The one that have brought you here so far, and the one that is, the ones that are going to take you to the further that you want. Yeah.
Okay.
So, viewer, you can hear for yourself. You've listened to their story, the much that they had to dissect themselves, and bring themselves on the table, so that each and every one of them, as they got into the marriage, they knew each other very well. They knew their backgrounds very well. They knew who they are. And that's why today you can see them, you've seen for yourself. They are very happy. So I wish you could take, a breather to take water, so that when you come back, we are going to talk on the habits that are going to ensure that you build a strong marriage for yourself and even help others to build strong marriages. So stay tuned. So we'll be back.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. We are continuing with our conversation on habits that build a strong marriage. And I'm welcoming you to join in the conversation. Send in your questions, any comments on our SMS line 21144, and join in the conversation also on our social media handles at GBS TV Africa. So we have Coach and her hubby with us. And we continue with this conversation. So now we've seen how you've built yourself a good marriage, the habits of building a strong marriage. So can we dive into them already?
Yeah. So let me begin by saying that first and foremost, virtually everybody is an expert in marriage in their own way.
Sure.
So we bring our own picture to this whole thing. I think with the grace we have, we just share it with people. But there are certain habits that are basic, that are standard. Let's always begin with the standard. If you are especially a Christian couple or whoever you are, those basic habits, prayer, reading the word, and sharing together, devotion, family devotion time, those are basic.
Okay.
We ought to be doing that. It's not like we do that all the time. Sometimes
so
we forget it.
We honor the bigger being that is within us.
Exactly, because we keep saying that the foundation of marriage is who?
It's God.
He has the pattern.
Sure.
That's what we say. God is the one who has the pattern. Then let's look for that pattern and try to live according to it. And of course, the second one I think that is very important in marriage is communication. Communication. I think that is key. Let me put it here from a male perspective. That we have this idea that is going around that being a man who's vulnerable to your wife, talking to your wife and talking to her, is this idea that is coming up about being a simp. Simping or something, just cuddling, trying to explain yourself to your wife. I think it's a very wrong idea that many men are getting, and it's because of the backlash the society has against marriage.
They take you to be
less of a man.
Less of a man because you talk, because you share. Wanaume ni
Because you became vulnerable in a way.
Yes, because you're vulnerable to your wife,
But you see, the sad thing is, mtu unakaa ngumu and you're hurting, what exactly does it add? What value does it add? So you might as well just go there and try to find new ways of doing things. So communication here is key, is always key. Always communicate, maybe.
Yeah, and you see with communication also, that's where it all starts.
Yeah.
And even when you got proposed to, it started at talking and communicating. Yeah. And like I was saying the last time I was here, I was saying sometimes it's not even the words that you use, it's even the body language.
Sure.
Because is it 75%?
Yeah, quite
that's
body
language.
And paraverbal.
Paraverbal.
Yeah, they are.
Paraverbal. I learned from him, by the way.
Only about 20%
is the words you speak.
Is the words
so
you
you have to constantly cultivate a habit of talking to one another, communicating to one another, articulating your needs. You know, let your husband know this is what I need. Let your wife know this is what I need. These are my needs in this house. So long as we're in this relationship, this is my need. And you have to form it as a habit.
Sure.
The reason why communication for us is a habit is because you have to be very intentional. Be very, very intentional talking to your spouse. Be deliberate. Don't close it up. Talk, communicate. Don't assume the other person can know what is going on inside
And read
of
your
you.
mind.
And read your mind. We are not mind readers.
Sure.
Yeah. The other thing that has also helped us quite a lot is sometimes we don't choose a day to sit and communicate or to sit and say, let's evaluate ourselves. No. Sometimes it's through the cases we handle in marriage. So we are discussing, like for example, when we were getting ready for this, we will come discussing about it, and then in the process, you find us also talking about our own relationship and where we are and what's happening in marriages today. And that also forms a basis for our information in as far as also evaluating ourselves. Where are we? It's good to evaluate yourself. It's good to have feedback. It's good to know muko ama mulitokanga ama what is happening. And in that, you may not even directly attack the person you're talking, your spouse, but you may say something that they will pick and start working on and realize, oh, that's how he thinks, you know. Yeye anaongea about other people. Kabisa hata stories zingine, probably even the TV, a case ameona about marriage, and he brings it to the table. And as he's talking about it, you're thinking, oh, this is what this person thinks. Oh, this is how this person is looking at issues. And that helps. Personally, I do that a lot. I pick from the things he's saying. And that is able to help me know my spouse. Then another habit that we've also tried. Sorry.
About communication, I wanted to bring in a case example where there was a time where you were working so late.
Yeah.
And then you're working so early.
So early.
As a restaurateur.
Yes. Yeah.
And then I had to come in so late from school.
Yeah. And he was doing late. Yeah.
Yes. So we used to joke what?
We used to joke that when I'm getting ready, because sometimes I would leave the house, say, at around 3, even 4 a.m. So we used to joke, because at that time he's sleeping. But me, I'm trying to communicate important things to him when I'm dressing up and he's in the bed. So I'm trying to communicate important things to him then. Then, when he comes at night, he'll find us probably already asleep. And then he's a night person. So he's also trying to communicate important things to me at that time when I'm completely switched off. And for him in the morning, he's still not on. He's not waking up early. So we were like, we say, basically we were like, couples cannot communicate important things. We used to tell each other, no, you're telling me important information when I'm just about to leave the house. Vitu kama hizo. Why weren't you telling me other times? But you see, it's because also our working schedules that time were very crazy. Yeah. So timings za communicate is also very.
So it has to be deliberate.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Deliberate.
Yeah. Yeah. Very, very deliberate.
Because now here you have a different schedule and he has a different schedule. So you may never meet.
You may be meeting at the door. You may be meeting at the door. Mkitoka, ama kurushiana funguo ya gari.
Sure, not until now you communicate.
Uchukue funguo na yeye atoke, you know. Yeah. Another habit that I think we still use even up today, which is also helping us plus our children, is good manners. or you can call it using magic words. Learn to say I'm sorry. You know, some things are very, very simple, but they heal. They heal a lot. Say sorry, say thank you, say excuse me, consult. Don't just do things on your own. Those are part of good manners. Consult. Don't decide at Saturday I'm going to see my mom in Shags, and you wake up and go. And you didn't even say. Consult. Probably he had other plans. And you want to take the kids. Maybe he was planning, because Saturday I'm off. I want to take the kids swimming. Or I want to take my family out. Na wewe, ushavuka kwa mama yako. Na ukiulizwa unasema ni mama yangu. So, consult. Those are also good habits. Remember each other's birthdays. Valentine's Day, anniversaries. I mean, that's put in the work.
I think the first time, maybe I might be doing this a little bit. I might be a bit on the extreme. But I do remember consciously, the first time najua nime celebrate your birthdays is when I married my wife. Yes, before that. I'm talking about the dysfunction of family. So if there are some, I may not remember them, but I don't have that clear recollection, memories of birthdays when we are young. I don't remember being celebrated. So birthdays imekuja kwake. So when they came in, it is a surprise. Okay, birthdays zinafanyago bado.
And for me, birthdays were being celebrated.
Yes. Okay. I mean, yesterday we were doing her celebration for her graduation.
And I'm a catch up vizuri na hizo celebrations.
She gets offended if you don't celebrate. She's like, why don't you celebrate these things? And I'm like, why do you have to celebrate?
Yeah, and it's because of where we are coming.
Yeah, it's from the background.
But also I think it's important for couples to celebrate each other.
Definitely.
In a way. Because now if you don't celebrate birthdays seriously, how else will you celebrate this person?
Exactly.
Or even Valentine's, you know.
And at the end of the day, tunasemaga,
it's thoughtful.
there are only two people under a duvet. Ni watu wawili blanketi ama duvet. At the end of the day.
So those are the good manners that you have to cultivate for your relationship. Or basically create habits around them. And you know, when you do that, even the children learn, they see.
Because I'm thinking these good habits, these good manners, the moment someone has done a mistake and here they are trying to show remorse and they are sorry, you know, you take it on a very, you know, nice note. Because you're like, this person is actually thoughtful, thinks of me and is even worried about my emotions.
Very true.
So it's very important for everybody to have these good manners.
And if at work, you people are told, write an apology letter to your boss because probably you missed work or something. How much more the person you're living with, honestly. And this is your forever. Forever person. You can't even apologize and say sorry. Lakini kazini, kosea kidogo hivi. You'll utajituma kuandika hiyo apology letter. And yet you can't do the same for your spouse. That's pride. So it's good to cultivate those good habits. Habits like, I mean, when you get home, say hi to the people in your house.
That's another thing.
Salimia watu nyumbani, si kuingia na kuanza kuvuruga milango. You know.
I didn't have that habit of she was always like, you've been away the whole day. You didn't even say how you
even called.
I'm like, I'm coming in the evening.
I'll come back. So Mali alienda the whole day. He hasn't even sent a text or called to find out how people at home are doing. And then you expect in the evening to just come and enter and you not even say hi to anyone. I used to enjoy I enjoy my mom up to now because growing up, we had a very strict mom. So my mom would come in, and the first thing from the entrance, anaona viatu havikupanguzwa, vile tu aliacha compound. So she'll start complaining kutoka huko. Anawaita nyinyi wote majina zenu nyote. Why is the house dirty? You know, that's how our mothers were. And they'll start complaining and say, no, tidy up, clean up and everything. But cultivate a habit where you come in first and say, oh, hi, how are you? How have you been? How was your day? Greet the children. You know, say hi to them. Many times I keep telling him, salimia watoto. The kids want to give you a hug waende walale, you know, because I think the men forget.
Sure,
you know,
do.
you know those nice habits. They even cultivate boldness in the children and confidence because that kid feels appreciated. So those are habits little things, but then they build the warmth of that family.
Okay.
Yeah.
So far, we've looked at honoring the divinity in us, the God who has brought this family
Yes.
together. That's number one in making sure our marriages, stand strong.
True.
We say a family that prays together stays together. And there's also communication that is so broad according to how you've put it and according to how I also see it.
Yes.
You have to keep communicating your intentions. You have to keep communicating how you want things done.
Very true.
And so that you can also find a balance. Because at the end of the day, everyone has their own heart. So bringing these two hearts together can only be through communication.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is having good manners.
Definitely.
Habits.
Having good
Manners is very
manners.
important.
Behavioral change.
Yeah. And also you said that people, one thing, and especially the men that need to cultivate is iyo ya ukiingia nyumbani, say hi to people.
Say hi to everybody.
Hug your children, and especially the children. Mostly wanasahau wingi. They're happy to see you, and they forget the kids because the kids are busy watching cartoon or doing something else. Yeah.
Huh?
So now so far nimeshika right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Iko class.
Yes. So the next one, the next one now is reevaluate, constant reevaluation of your marriage. You have not arrived. Probably you may never. But the point is, you are constantly reevaluating where we are. I think of it in terms of a pressure cooker. By constant reevaluation, the pressure on marriage, munatoa tu.
Okay.
You may have trouble in between.
Pressure.
You
The
release
more
pressure.
you're evaluating, the more you're releasing the tension.
Yes. So what would be a full-blown issue somehow just becomes an issue of just clarification, and you move on. Basically. So you have to constantly reevaluate.
Okay, for this point, ningetaka we take water kidogo. Then when we come back, we'll expound on that and more.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So my dear viewer, I hope you are tagging along in this conversation. You can hear the many things that we need to adopt in our marriages, in our relationships, that we need to first of all honor the God in us. The God who has brought you together. Kindly keep forever honoring that God with your spouse and with your family. Pray together, sing together, honor the God that is in you. Number two, we've been told to keep, or rather to build a strong marriage, you have to keep communicating. Constantly communicate your needs, constantly communicate your whereabouts, every little thing that you need to, tell your spouse, tell your children, open up your hearts, because you're two different people. So the only way you can merge these different humans is by communication. The other thing, cultivate good manners. Do you get that one? Good manners. Say sorry, say please, say excuse me, say, I'll be late today. Kindly keep communicating, keep praying together, and keep, cultivating these magical words. They are very helpful as you relate with your children, with your spouse. This way you're wholesome. The marriage will be okay. And also, as we go on this break, I want us to take a break, and we were talking about reevaluating the relationships. And when we come back, we'll dissect that one further. So kindly take a break. Don't go away. Just take a glass of water, and then we'll be back.
Everywhere, GBS.
Welcome back, viewer. I hope you're enjoying this conversation on this very Valentine 2022. Today is a special one. So before we went for a breather, we were looking at reevaluating our marriages, each and every time.
So this is what you're trying to say, is that at every point of your life, you may be at different points in life.
Sure.
Change of career, new children, babies coming in, grade 1, children growing up. You're at different levels of life. So you need to keep reevaluating your marriage to make sure you understand you're still on the same journey, because it really never ends.
Sure.
Changes are constant, and marriage is a constant learning experience, and a wonderful learning experience. After all, we are human beings,
Sure.
and more importantly, of different gender. So I think we have to keep asking ourselves, are we learning something new? Are we, even from our
growing?
mistakes?
Yeah.
Yes. We keep making so many mistakes, and we keep going back again and say, we made a mistake there.
Yeah.
And forgive ourselves. For all the mistakes we keep making, just forgive yourself first, and forgive your wife, and forgive your husband continually. Yeah.
Okay.
Very true. And you know, when we talk of reevaluating, we also try to look at being very selfless in marriage.
Okay.
In marriage, you cannot afford to be selfish. And I like bringing that out every time I talk to couples, or every time I have an opportunity to talk about marriage. The issue of being selfish. Marriage is about laying down your life for another person.
Sure.
You would have chosen other things to do. You would have chosen to stay single. You would have chosen not to share your life with anybody. But you decided to. You decided to get married to this imperfect person who God is perfecting every day. So you have to be very, very selfless. Giving yourself. We say you leave marriage with compromises. And you don't give 50-50. It's 100 from both. 100 from my side and 100 from his side.
Hallelujah.
We don't do 50-50 to make 100. I can't give half. I have to give the whole of me. And he gives the whole of himself.
Okay.
You know,
That's
it's
neat.
the only mathematics where 1 + 1 is 1 and not 2.
Sure.
You get? So you don't give half. You give the whole of yourself in a marriage.
So it's not, you're not my other half. You're my other.
Yes,
my other
I'm not
self.
your better half. I'm your better whole. And vice versa. So you cannot afford to be selfish. And most of the problems that we are facing in the society today about marriage, when we sit with my husband, Aki tuna-analyze, tunasema, Aki, these guys are just being selfish. Nobody wants to move ground. Nobody wants to compromise. Nobody wants to compromise for the sake of the other person. And sometimes it's just very simple things. Very, very simple things. Okay, somebody comes here and they're like, maybe when we were getting married, the man had the job and I did not have a job. Then we get married and we move along 2 years down the line. He loses his job or decides to go to business and I now have a job, a well-paying job. And at that point, I cannot afford to be selfish because the days when I didn't have, he supported me.
Sure.
The days that now I have more, and not that he's lazy, I should be able to support, probably take up some more roles in as far as meeting our financial need in the house is concerned. Maybe if he was paying rent, I can pay the rent. Why? Because at that point, I'm the one who has a consistent income flow. That should not be debatable. But you find people who are not moving ground. Yani mahali mtu amekanyagia. He is the man. He is the provider. I am not doing it. And you become so selfish.
In fact, we were taught in one marriage class that when money comes in, let's touch a bit of money. When money comes in, spend it according to
The need.
not according to who brought in.
Yes.
So, for example, my suit here would be about, let's assume it's about 5,000 shillings, and I really need a suit. Her dress generally goes for about
3,000 maybe.
also, so it would be less than mine.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't bring in 5,000 or so. So my need actually is because of the nature of the nature of men's clothing. They are much more expensive. So we are going to spend more on mine.
Yeah.
It's only.
Yeah, I cannot start saying you cannot have
Yeah.
suit more expensive than the dress I wear.
So I
Yet
have to
I'm the
get
one getting the money. You know,
You cannot.
such
You cannot
things.
say because you bought one suit, I must buy 2 dresses. That's not
Yeah,
the point. It's
exactly.
a need you are
to
meeting.
meet what he.
Yeah, it's just a need you are meeting.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
equality bit of thing that people keep talking about.
Yes. That equality.
So it's a need you're meeting. So the need does not take into account the fact that yours cost how much. It's a need because men's clothes generally are more expensive than women's. Yes.
Yeah. So in that kind of a scenario, do not be selfish.
Yeah.
Do not be selfish. Always think of the other person better than yourself. Even the word of God tells us, think of the others highly than you do yourself. Because in this generation we are in, selfishness is the main thing. It's me, myself, and I. What am I getting out of it? You know, okay, I'm going into marriage. What will I get out of it? And you're expecting to get something out of it, yet you're not putting anything in. You cannot draw from what you have not deposited. You have to deposit something for you to draw out of it. And you deposit love, you deposit selflessness, so that you'll also harvest, you know. So if in the days when you are high up there, you did not invest in your marriage, then the day you're hit and you go down there, say for example, the day you are working and earning a good salary, you did not invest with your husband or with your wife.
Wow.
Then what happens on the day you go lacking?
Now, Coach, I love this conversation.
Yeah.
I wish you would have the whole day.
I know.
It's so beautiful and it's so
Yeah.
sweet. But kindly give your parting shots because time is running out on
Okay.
us here.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here on this Valentine's Day, and I believe everybody is working out their relationships well.
Sure.
Please do not be selfish. Even today, probably you had forgotten that it's Valentine. Go out there, get something nice for somebody, and remember to celebrate them every day, not only on Valentine's Day. Remember, we celebrate love every day. Then the other thing I want to say, as I introduce myself, I'm Mary Njero, and this is Njero. And I do relationship mentorship, or even marriage mentorship, or coach, like you like calling me. And you can find me on Facebook. My Facebook account is Gaki Njero. If somebody needs to reach out to me, I will also share my numbers on my Facebook page in case you need to reach out. We do this for churches, for youth groups, for married couples, and we just want to have fun as we enjoy marriage and see marriage working, because marriage is not a scam. Marriage works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
your parting shot.
My parting shot is very simple. Have fun in
Have
marriage.
fun.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself.
Sure.
I think we only live once. And I think that, I honestly believe that many people will want to, the person you chose to be your wife or your husband, you want to be with that person to the very end. So I think you have fun with that, try as much as possible to have fun with that person. Because I don't think I want to change my wife personally.
I don't want to change you either. I cannot.
How
I
nice.
cannot.
How nice.
Yeah.
Dear viewer, our time is running out. But before we go, I hope you've listened to what Coach Gaki and Mr. Anthony had to tell us. They've taught us many things. Their marriage is an example to emulate, because they're telling us that you have to give 100%, not 50-50 like we usually say. It is you give 100% and the other person, your life partner, to give 100% to make a whole. So I'm really thankful that we had this conversation on this very day, on Valentine's Day, because moving forward, you have to now start making, creating the habits that are going to help you build a strong marriage for you, because I'm sure you didn't get into it so that you can fail, right? So as we go, make sure you're not selfish. Make sure you every time stay before before God. Every time praying for your family, praying for yourself, and also keep communicating. Don't be selfish, as we have been told. So I want to leave you until next time. Make sure you keep tuned to our conversations and keep commenting. So I want to leave you on this Valentine. So bye-bye and happy Valentine's.